Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to today's meeting of the Georges River Local Planning Panel. My name is Donna Reigate and I'm the chair this afternoon. Most of the panel is currently streaming from the council offices in McMahon Street in Hurstville, but I have got a cold and decided that it would be a bit inconsiderate of me to attend the offices to do this meeting, so I'm doing it online. The people on the panel today are Nicholas Skelton and Stephen Alchin, who are expert panel members, and Sophia Ma, who is our community representative. So I welcome all of you. We've been appointed by the Minister for Planning to determine specified development applications, including the applications that are on the agenda today in accordance with the requirements of the Environmental Planning and Assessment Act. Georges River Local Planning Panel acknowledges the Bidjigal people of the Eora Nation, who are the traditional custodians of all lands, waters and sky in the Georges River area. We pay our respects to elders past and present and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people who live, work and meet on these lands. I'm required to advise you that under the provisions of the Environmental Planning and Assessment Act, this meeting of the panel is being live streamed and will be made available on Council's website, including the nose-blowing interruptions. In accordance with the revised meeting protocols, interested parties wishing to make representations to the panel were requested to register a summary of their interests. We received one registration, and we've advised council officers that we do wish to hear oral submissions from that person who will be called during the course of the meeting. That's somebody, Alison Davidson, who's speaking in relation to LPP 023-25 DA 2024/0141 in relation to 12 Harris Street, Sans Souci. As required by the Local Planning Panel Code of Conduct, panel members are required to disclose any conflicts of interest in respect of any matter on the agenda for a panel meeting. The relevant forms as prescribed by the New South Wales Department of Planning have been completed and are tabled for council to be included in the online minutes of the meeting. And I'm glad to report that no panel member has disclosed any conflict of interest in any matter on today's agenda. I'll just do a double check that nothing's arisen since those declarations were completed that requires anybody to make a declaration at this point.
No.
No. Okay, thank you very much. Righto. We've received a completed assessment report from council staff for each of the development applications we're looking at today. We've also undertaken inspections of the sites and nearby localities for the three matters on the agenda today, including myself in a socially distanced kind of way. But I was able to attend those, so that's good. We're going to work through each of the applications in the order published on council's website. However, we've only got one speaker. The other two applications, the ones for which we have no speakers, are 28 Carlton Crescent, Cogra Bay, which is the subdivision, demolition works and construction of a dwelling house, outbuildings and ancillary works application, and 68 to 72 Park Road, Cogra Bay, demolition works and construction of a residential flat building application. But as I said earlier, we have one person registered to speak in relation to 12 Harris Street, Sans Souci. The DA number is the same number that I read out earlier. That's for demolition works, retention of the heritage listed dwelling and construction of a two-storey addition at the rear of the existing dwelling with a basement area below, in-ground swimming pool. I think the pool is now being deleted from plans. Detached cabana, landscaping and site works. Only the people who are registered to speak will be able to make representations to the panel, and those people, or that person in this case, is asked to limit their presentation to 3 minutes. Encourage you to speak clearly and loud enough that anyone that's viewing the live stream can hear. And encourage everybody else to leave their cameras and microphones off unless they are speaking. I'm also required to remind everybody that defamatory, discriminatory, or offensive language is not acceptable and might result in the author being exposed to liability for which counsel and the panel take no responsibility. Okay, so we will hear from our registered speaker, and then once the public aspects of the meeting are closed, I'll close the public meeting and move into a determination session with the members of the panel. That's not live streamed or recorded, but the outcomes of that determination meeting are available on Council's website once confirmed by the panel. That usually happens within 2 or 3 days of the meeting. Okay, so that's the preliminaries. I'll now ask Alison Davidson to speak to us in relation to the application for 12 Harris Street, Sans Souci.
Afternoon, panel chair. Thank you. I feel your pain. I'm feeling unwell myself, so I'll keep it short and sweet. Thank you for your time. Look, I'm really just here to represent the applicant. This has been a fairly lengthy process for a DA and an interlude of an appeal. So we're just here to really show that we're committed to working through the issues. I understand what the determination means today, and we're not trying to change that at all. The history I just wanted to very briefly touch on is the plans you're looking at today is the following of a very rigorous process through Council's assessment and then on appeal. We got up to the first full day of a Section 34AA. So there were joint reports done, there was expert witnesses conciliating and all that sort of thing. So there's been a lot resolved, and the one remaining issue was stormwater. I know there is one small planning issue that's included as a balcony width issue, but essentially stormwater was the last remaining issue on appeal. It was decided to withdraw and work with council on that. We got close, and as recent as yesterday we had a meeting with the council's engineer, planning manager and planner to, I guess, narrow down the points of difference on our stormwater issues. And I think we know what we need to do. We know what a solution will look like, and that's our next step. Once determination has been made, we understand the channels available to us. So I guess it's really just a matter of being here. If you had any questions, if I could clarify anything, we know what the next steps are. So I can assist if at all it's helpful. That on one of the refusal reasons, there's a couple of typos on DCP referencing, so I'm happy to assist there, but you may have picked up on those. Otherwise, any questions I will attempt to answer. So we were going to have the whole project team here, but it just seemed a bit superfluous under the situation. So
yeah,
happy to stay silent, happy to answer if I can.
Thank you very much. Members of the panel, questions, please.
It's Steve Alshan here. Just one quick one. As the panel had a site inspection out there this afternoon in the rain and got a sense of just what
that would have been pleasant.
Yeah, and what the drainage issues might be. As I understand it, one of the issues was just the need for as the council officers were arguing, was a direct connection to the main drain or the trunk drain. Is that correct? Is that
correct?
Got in contemplation?
That's right. So there seem to be two options. If we can resolve that, and look, there's been back and forth. There was drains modelling prepared. It was a very lengthy technical discussion we had yesterday, and I think we've been issued today with some information just to get our project engineer and council's engineers on the same page as to what information would satisfy. And look, obviously, if we can't get to that point, then the other option is an easement, which we're trying to avoid. We think we can get there, and yesterday it did seem issues were aligning, and so we're just out of time. So yep. Everyone's been, there's been a lot of moving parts, but I feel confident that we've been invited to work with council for an 8.2 review, and I genuinely think we can get there.
Thank you for that. That's helpful.
Anybody else?
Yes. Could I ask a question about the balcony?
Sure.
Has that been resolved, or can you provide any further information on that?
No, look, it remains there. I'm happy to talk to it because it does just seem to be a numerical non-compliance. There's certainly some merit there to support it. The original design, the filed plans, I guess, if you like, had a form of building on the other side, a much bigger balcony. Privacy was never raised as an issue in the SOFAC, and during conciliation, other issues when the design sort of morphed into what you're looking at, there were discussions on how to resolve other privacy issues in terms of window treatments. This balcony, it's 1.7 off the side boundary. It's not a huge balcony, and it's treated with fixed privacy panelling that fixes it away from the side boundary. And from a bedroom. So I don't see there being any privacy impacts. I think it was raised as a non-compliance, but I think one that could be supported. And look, I'm comfortable in an 8.2 review to provide all that information. I'm even more comfortable if you were to agree for that to no longer be a refusal reason. But and there's to the rear property, there's I think 14 metres separation between the balcony edge and the rear boundary, and then in their rear yards is shed structures, not private open space. So I guess also to the point is it wasn't re-notified for because council didn't see that it was an additional issue or an introduced impact as an amended set of plans.
I understand your position. Thank you.
Can I just follow up on that balcony issue? I think that part of leaving aside the privacy concerns, the issue is with a bigger balcony, there's likely to be potentially more people using it and congregating on it, and there are, potential issues in relation to noise and that sort of thing. Have you considered those?
Well, because it's a curved balcony and actually narrows to the other side, it's a design element really. And look, this design was punched into line, so to speak, through the process, and that a lot of treatment on heritage resolutions and those sorts of aspects. So it's not a huge balcony. It is at its biggest in the corner, but that's because it's got this curved element, and the treatment was to provide that screening. The development is better for it in the way, like we could, yes, shift where it's wider into the site, but design-wise, because there is no impact and it is from a bedroom, I don't even think you could fit a very substantial two-top table there. Like, it's not sort of a space people are going to be using for recreation. It's really just a small balcony off a bedroom. The recreation space is downstairs with all the primary living straight onto the backyard.
But
So
you're not open to just reducing its size to be compliant?
I just can't see the benefit of it. Look, yes, obviously it could be conditioned to comply, but we just don't see the impact of it. And it does, from a design perspective, I think it's better for having that curved treatment, and without the impact, I'd probably press that we keep the balcony. But yeah,
okay,
it is a conditionable option. So
yeah, thank you. Anybody else got any questions? Sophia?
I have no questions. Thank you.
Right, thank you. Okay. It's Steve and Nicholas, you're good?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks.
Yeah, no further questions.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Alison, for attending this afternoon. We do appreciate it.
no problem.
And we will
Feel better, Chair?
Same to you. I
Thank
hope
you.
that yours doesn't deteriorate.
Thank you. There's a lot going around at the moment.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah.
All right. Having exhausted our list of people who have registered to speak this afternoon, I will close this public meeting of the panel and ask the panel secretariat to click onto the deliberative link, which I will do as well, and we'll move into that part of the meeting. Thank you very much, everybody, for your attendance this afternoon.
Thank you, panel.